Hey, I'm Teni and welcome to the guest channel. Come on inside, we're gonna get ready for date night. So let me show you what I'm gonna wear tonight. I'm going with this two-piece from Marciano by Guess. It's classic and just my style. The first thing that struck me about this outfit is the color. It's this almost periwinkle shade. And anytime I'm wearing a two-piece like this, I love when the top is a bodysuit. It just makes everything nice and snatched at the waist. And this twist detail on the skirt is just really good for accentuating shape. So I'm very excited to wear this. But for now, let's start on the makeup. So my makeup style is pretty minimalist too, all neutral colors. So I'm gonna keep it pretty light. I'm starting out with a pretty sheer, dewy base. I'd love to keep everything really dewy, not so matte. I'm just gonna take a sponge and grab some of that product and just start stippling it into my skin. So this is also buildable too. If I wanted to go in for a little more coverage, I could go back with a little more product. But I think right now we're good. Next up, I'm going in with a little concealer. And I use a pretty light hand with concealer too. Don't use too much. Just a little bit at the inner corner, outer corner. Just enough to highlight the center of my face. And for this, I'm gonna use a buffing brush to really give it that airbrushed look. It's funny, I've never actually learned to do makeup. I've always been an artist. I've been drawing and painting my whole life. So that skill set sort of transferred over from one canvas to another. So I'm just gonna drag that out and blend it toward my cheeks. And that just subtly brightened up the center of my face. Next up, I'm going in for contour, my favorite part. My number one contouring tip is really to just build. Sometimes we go in a little heavier than we should, but if you notice, I just add a little bit at a time. I don't go all the way at first. See, just a little bit, just lightly. And then once you blend it out, like I'm doing now, then you can have a look and see if you need to add a little bit more. So it doesn't look so severe and so noticeable. Even with a contour, you still want it to look pretty natural. It's just enhancing your own bone structure. See that? I feel like is almost enough. I'm just gonna add a touch more here to the cheekbones. Build, 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 build. That's like my biggest tip with makeup. It's easy to build, it's much more difficult to take away. I'm about to use a cream blush, which is my go-to. I hardly use any powder product, which is the key to making things look natural. So I'm just gonna use that same sponge and just use the other side to pick up a little bit of cream blush. And I'm just gonna pat that in. And that looks about right for me. So the one powder product I am gonna use is a setting powder. And even with setting powder, I still keep it pretty light. I only set my concealer and anywhere that I tend to get a little bit more slick. So I'm just gonna use a fluffy brush and just add the powder to the under eye area where I applied concealer. And then just a touch around the center of my face, just because that's where the light hits. And I'm not actually even using a highlighter because since I used cream and dewy products, that natural highlight just kind of comes through. So I'm gonna move on to the eyes, and even with the eyes, I'm keeping it pretty simple and neutral. I'm gonna start out with this shimmery brown cream eyeshadow, which I'm just gonna apply directly to my eyelid. And I use so few tools when I do my eye makeup. I just like to blend out with my finger. And this is the perfect base. I feel like this suits any complexion, any eye color. It's just soft and neutral. Daytime, nighttime, it works for everything. I've always loved Natalie Portman, Kate Beckinsale. They always tend to keep it very neutral and very classic and pretty, and just really playing up their natural features. Kim Kardashian has great eye makeup looks. beautiful, especially if I want to go a little more dramatic. Even if I just wore this and went out, it would work just fine because it kind of brightens up my brown eyes and just brings a little life to it. But I'm going to kick it up since it is date night. I'm going to kick it up with a little bit of liner. I'm going to first start with a bronze eyeliner, and then I'll go over it with black. So this is just going to give me a little soft definition, which I'm going to blend out with a smudge brush. And I could even do this with my finger too since it's brown. Anytime you're using a smudged out eyeliner, it becomes much more romantic, much more sexy. It's like the bedroom eyes look. That's why I love just always, even just now you can see it started to bring a little bit more of that sultriness to the eyes. And then when I add the black, it's just gonna bring a little more drama. I'm gonna add, of course, less of this shade right to the outer part of my lash line. And then using that smudge brush, just start to blend it out into sort of a soft wing shape. And then blend it across the entire lash line. So again, very, very soft. And the great thing with keeping all of these cream too is if you feel like you've gone overboard, you can go back to that bronzy cream eyeshadow and kind of erase it out, which you can't really do with powder. That's one of my biggest tips for eye makeup, is using cream products. The smudging trick is especially good if you aren't particularly good eyeliner, if you can't keep your lines straight. This is a good way to fake it. I think I'm happy with that. So I'm gonna move on to mascara. So one tip I have for mascara is I like to roll the wand upward while I close my eye against the wand. And that's really gonna create that tension and really make them stand up nice and tall. Look at that. And I like to focus most of the mascara at the outer corner just because it creates that lifted look. And because I'm keeping everything pretty neutral, I'm actually gonna skip the bottom lash line. So we're done with the eyes. I'm gonna move on to brows. Brows are my favorite part of any makeup look. It is essential to any face shape to get the right brow look. So I'm just gonna use a simple brow gel here to brush them up and make them look a little more fluffy and a little thicker. And of course, this is gonna set them as well. I over-tweezed so much when I was younger, and now the big brow trend is these fluffy, you know, kind of almost like not unruly, but just looking very natural and thick. Thick brows are very, very in now. So we're all trying to grow our brows back. So now we're gonna move on to lips, the final portion of the makeup look. I almost always like to start out with a nude lip pencil. This kind of just helps contour the lips a little bit. And picking the right nude shade is essential. Next up, I'm just gonna apply a matte lipstick. It's always the dilemma, are we going with glossy or are we going with matte? Today I'm gonna go with matte. I just really like this color and it pairs really well with the lip liner. So just softly kind of patting that in and then making sure to blend it with the liner. And I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's it for this makeup look. Like I said, keeping it really soft, neutral. Neutrals are my thing. You hardly ever see me in a colorful eyeshadow. This is sort of like a very versatile look that works for daytime and nighttime. For my hair, my go-to is usually just some soft waves. So I'm gonna refresh them with a 1-inch barrel. I'm just gonna take bigger pieces here and start mid-shaft and just give it a little more body. I've been wearing my hair down, split down the middle for maybe 15 years now. It's been like my signature look. I try to be a little more adventurous, but I just always come back to this. And so this is just bringing a little, like I said, body to it as well as shape, just refreshing the waves, but still keeping them nice and loose. Yeah, that looks good to me. Like I said, I like it messy. I don't like it too polished and too pretty. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of spray here, give it a little texture. And I always spray from the bottom because that helps with texture and body. Yep, and that's it. And I'm ready to go. I've got my clothes on, I've got my accessories. This look makes me feel powerful and confident. It just is such a beautiful warm color. That sky blue, that periwinkle is beautiful. And it's perfect for day to date if you wanted to have an entire day. But it is just really versatile and very classic. Just the earrings, the T-strap sandals give it that chic accent. I love date night. We don't do it often enough, so I'm really looking forward to it. Make sure I get everything I need. Keys, phone, and he should be here any minute. My boyfriend is usually late. I'm pretty prompt. I don't take too long to get ready. I keep it pretty simple. Just catch the chase. Okay, so I had my first job when I was 15 years old, and you're not allowed to work here till you're 16, but I really wanted to work. And my boss said, early is on time is late. And ever since then, I've never been late to anything. I've always lived by that little motto. So tonight we're going to a lovely restaurant in one of the hotels in West Hollywood. It's a rooftop, it's so beautiful, gorgeous view, and the food is, I'm definitely a foodie. I love all types of food, but I especially love Italian food. I can have pasta any night. You know, I'm not a drinker. I like to just be high on life, you know? Yeah, I don't really drink. I don't know, I feel like it's more just for lifestyle purposes, you know, for better skin, and there he is. Thank you for getting ready with me today. I hope you had a good time. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the guest channel for more.